Hey folks, and welcome to Truck King. We have a treat today because we are here at a company called Miller Technology, and they outfit these. Those are Land Cruiser 70 series. Now these are not street legal here in Canada. They're specifically built for the mining industry, but today we get to drive one and I want to show you exactly how they build these things, so make sure you stay tuned. Miller Technology is located in North Bay, Ontario. It's in close proximity to many local mines, but they will also ship these trucks all over the world once they are upfitted. Now, Miller has a special deal to buy them through Toyota Canada, and they get these trucks for roughly $35,000 Canadian straight from Toyota. Now, when they leave Miller, though, they can cost anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 thanks to all the upfit work that goes into them. We got a tour through Miller's shop, and what struck me right away is how different all of these truck builds are. For example, this orange truck is a personnel transport. Now, regardless though of the upfit, all of them use the same naturally aspirated diesel engine, and yes, we did get a chance to drive it, so more on that a little later. Now you can see here, this truck is ready to move people around a mine site, and out back Miller has all of these different bodies which are ready to be put onto the back of one of these Land Cruisers. Now this is a truly unique truck. It can actually split into up to 5 different pieces because some mines don't have the space to ship them down whole. So they'll ship it down in 5 pieces and then it will be put back together and ready for service in the mine. Miller will really tackle any challenge that a mine site throws at it. Now, we had the chance to meet Hugh McDermott, who's the VP of Product and Business Development, to talk to us a little bit more about these trucks.
So Hugh, thanks for having us out, see these incredible trucks. You know, I think we have to start with the most basic question, which is why Toyota Land Cruiser? Why is this the vehicle that you guys choose to outfit for the mining industry?
There is nothing tougher that we have seen in the market than these trucks. We've had clients, customers of ours in the past try to go elsewhere, and listen, we'll upfit somebody else's truck, but chances are within a fairly short period of time they'll be back with us asking for the Land Cruiser again.
So just with these trucks right behind you, can you just give me a little rundown of sort of, you know, what they are in terms of the engine spec, the 4-wheel drive system, and then when they roll out of here, sort of some of the work you guys would do to them?
Yeah, for sure. So behind us is obviously the Toyota Land Cruiser. We have 2 variants here. We have the 2-door and the 4-door version is as exciting as we get on variants. All of them are the 4.2 liter naturally aspirated diesel, putting out 128 horsepower. A lot of the times in a mine site, we'll lock them in 4-wheel drive permanently, and then we'll decrease the number of gears that they have just because the mine site tends to operate at about 30 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed limit. Okay,
gotcha. And then, yeah, walk me through a typical modification, or are they all so different? Is that a hard thing to do?
No. I mean, we are in a marketplace where we service infrastructure support and personnel transport. So we're not physically doing any mining. We're not supplying gear to move rock. Most of what we do is move people and material around the mine site. So we'll build everything from a personnel transport vehicle to move employees to their working heading, or we'll build vehicles to maybe service vehicles, fuel larger pieces of equipment, all the way down to, say, an ambulance to rescue people in the event of an accident underground. It's all in our warehouse.
So yeah, essentially a company will come to you and say, this is what we're looking for, and you'll come up with a solution.
Yeah, so we have a number of kind of pre-existing solutions, and then we also offer kind of a design service to make bespoke attachments for the vehicle. So yeah, if a customer comes to us and wants to design something new, we're happy to do that for them.
Cool. And what's the typical life cycle on one of these vehicles, and what happens to them at the end of their lives? Because that's what everybody always wants to know.
So I would say our average is probably about 5 years life cycle on a vehicle. I've seen as low as 3 years. And then depending on the mine site, depending on the geology and what the mine is actually doing underground, they can go as long as 15 years. At the end of the life cycle, they're essentially used up to nothing, so they'll be removed from service and recycled. Potentially there is an opportunity for us to maybe regain some of the cores, so some of the heavier castings in the vehicle, engine blocks, things like that. And sometimes we'll use those in our rebuild and exchange program to supply mine sites that have vehicles operating on site with rebuilt engines, axles, or transmissions.
Cool. And yeah, the reason I ask is because, as you guys know firsthand, everybody wants one of these things, but they cannot get them.
They
right?
cannot,
Like a mine.
yeah, unless you own a mine or operate a mine, we can't sell them to you. All of the vehicles are on private property, kind of closed course use only, and a lot of them stay captive in a mine site throughout their life.
Sure. Very cool. I guess my last question is there one modification, say in the last year, 2 years, that stands out to you, something you guys had to really tackle that was a big challenge, something really different, you know, something that was kind of cool?
We partnered with a company that actually supplies explosives.
Okay.
They're changing the way they detonate those explosives. And the company was great. They came to us, gave us all of the gear that made this explosive detonation system work. And they said, listen, we want to carry this around the mine site. So we worked with them, developed an attachment that holds everything they need to hold. And now whenever a mine site changes over to a wireless detonation system supplied by that company, we get to sell them a truck as well. So that's a pretty exciting one that we partnered with the explosives company, developed kind of a bespoke custom vehicle, and now that's part of their package that they sell to mine sites.
That's neat, man.
Yeah,
Well,
very
thanks
cool.
so much, Hugh. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right, folks, so now we get to take this Land Cruiser for a drive. Now, as I mentioned already, not street legal, so no, we're not going on the street. We're just going to putz around here in the back lot of Miller Technology. But how cool is this thing? So this is an inline 6 diesel. It's making just over 100 horsepower. And this is exactly how this thing rolls in. Miller has not actually modified this Land Cruiser yet. So usually these will be speed limited. Actually, they will always be speed limited, generally down to 32 kilometers per hour. But it all depends. Every mine is different. Every mine has different specifications that they want built to. So yeah, it really depends on who they're building this thing for as to what it's gonna look like. But what can you say? This thing is dead simple, and that's why the mining industry and Miller loves them. 5-speed manual transmission, naturally aspirated diesel, so that's pretty cool too. It's an NA, no turbos here. And yeah, mines don't want power windows. Mines don't want airbags. All of that safety stuff we're used to, a mine is just gonna rip it out anyway because these things just get beat up. So they order the base spec of these trucks and then solid axles, 4-wheel drive with a transfer case. And actually that's one of the reasons they love the manual transmissions as well, is because what they'll do is they'll lock out certain gears in the manual, and they will also lock you in low range when you have that T-case to keep your speeds down, but to also keep your power up. Now, yeah, driving this thing, basic. The clutch is really easy. I mean, it's a torquey little diesel, so it never feels like it wants to stall. No problems there whatsoever. The seating position is cool too. Very tall. I'm very high up in this vehicle. Gives you a good sense for what's around you. Because it's so squared off, the hood is so squared off, I sort of know exactly where all those corners are too. So yeah, I really like the sight lines here. A lot of glass. It's a tall greenhouse. I think for being down in the mine, that's going to be important. But at the end of the day, the only thing that truly matters is, dollars and cents with a vehicle like this. How much does it cost to run? How much does it cost to fix? And speaking with Miller, they already said, you know what? They have been through a number of different vehicles. They've tried F-150s. They've outfitted some Rams. Every single time they come back to the Land Cruiser because this thing just lasts and lasts. There's a little hill climb here on the property. I'm just in 2-wheel drive, so I'm slipping a little bit. But the torquiness is incredible. Just low speed torque. And again, these vehicles barely ever go above 32 kilometers an hour. And I mean, just take a look at this truck. Here's an example of a truck that just got back from a mine. They get the crap beat out of them. These folks are not nice to these trucks. So yeah, you need something that's super robust and also super simple, because Miller also does fix these trucks. Miller has a program where they will take their old trucks back, they'll re everything, they'll do axles, transmissions, engines, you name it, they will fix it. So they also want simplicity. Simplicity is the name of the game here in every single case. Even down to things like wiring looms. When they're running looms through the back end of some of these vehicles, they'll leave all the wiring exposed on the roof. And you look at it from a consumer point of view and it catches your eye and you go, well, that looks like sloppy work. It's not sloppy work. It is absolutely there for ease of use and simplicity, so that when somebody on the other end has to work on the wiring, They don't have to tear apart that custom cab that Miller made. And that's just the sense I get driving this thing, man. Dead simple, dead easy to operate. Mostly manual still. Miller also says they prefer the manual, I mentioned, because they can lock out gears. However, the funny thing they did tell us too is that a lot of the younger workforce cannot drive manuals, so they are slowly switching over to automatics. And then there is a turbocharged diesel engine that Toyota sells in other world markets that they're hoping will eventually come here and get certified. But that's not here for now. But yeah, the name of the game here is absolute simplicity, and you just can't approach this like a regular consumer. You have to look at this vehicle and realize it's built for such a specialized purpose, and all that matters here is dollars and cents. And even though they've been through all those other brands, they always come back to Toyota because these are sort of the cheapest to buy and the simplest to keep on running for many years down in a mine. And you know what? Dad actually got to go down in the mine today. I got to come over here to Miller Tech, get the tour, and drive the truck. But Dad got a chance to go down into the mine and see these trucks down there actually running around. So let's talk to him a little bit now about what his experience was like going 1.5 kilometers underground.
I went over to Sudbury, which of course is a huge mining town, and to the original Copper Cliff mine, which is over 100 years old. Suited us up, gave us the safety instructions, breathing apparatus, all the gear, and then 2,600 feet down the elevator shaft, so a half a mile underground. And that's where these trucks live, and that's what I got to do. I got to see these trucks in that environment, a place where they'll last 4, maybe 5 years, and you'll see some of this video that I shot, and you can see how tough and rough these mine shafts are and the underground that they have to traverse.
You can see from the footage that Dad brought back, these mines are a rough place to live, and besides the beating these trucks take from their drivers, there's lots of corrosive material hanging around that loves to stick onto these trucks, so they rust from the bottom up and sometimes from the top down, depending on what is dripping on top of them. Miller did say to me that they can do a rust-proof undercoating, but about 6 months of work in a mine and all signs of that undercoating are entirely gone, so it's barely worth doing at all. Now, as Dad mentioned, he went down in an elevator, but he came back up in the back of one of these Land Cruisers, and that was a roughly an 11-kilometer drive to get back to the surface because you're doing so many circles. But honestly, just watching the footage, it must have felt really good emerging back into the light. Now, back at Miller Technology, I also had the chance to drive a fully electric mining truck, which they outfitted themselves.
And at the moment, are you selling any electrics? Is it like 10% of your business, 2% of the business?
It's still a very small portion of our business. We are selling them. And there are obviously mine sites that are adopting this technology faster than others.
Yeah, you're good. I got her, yeah.
But yeah, so
Sure.
we have some customers that have 10 electric trucks on site.
Yeah.
So that would account for probably 30% of their fleet is electric now. And then we have some customers that are, onesies, twosies, just to try it out.
Oh wow, okay, very aggressive engine braking there too.
Yeah, and that also helps. You'll notice that on
hills,
the
right?
downhill,
That's
right?
exactly what I wanted to feel. Yeah, coming down, if I don't touch it, will it stop? Yeah, you got to be into it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it will start to creep a little bit.
I was feeling that.
And then it'll do kind of a plugging where it'll hold and then stop, hold and then stop.
Oh, okay. And is it regenerating as well when it's doing this? It's all regen braking?
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that for the emissions advantage, this seems like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
right?
and if you look at the, say, a mine's total operating cost,
Yeah.
Oftentimes ventilation, just extracting the air out of the ground,
Yeah.
can account for about 30% of the total operating cost of the mine.
Huh, wow.
So if you think about that, in the summer, they have to condition the air to make it stable working temperature. In the winter, if you're working up north, you have to heat the air before you pump it underground. So yeah, it's a pretty expensive endeavor for a mine to just move air underground.
Interesting. Well, yeah, and the big benefit too is just the torque you get out of this. Same idea as the diesel, right? Low speed, high torque.
Yeah.
This is even better.
Yeah.
So for a mining application, a work application, it makes all the sense in the world.
Especially an application where you're always on grade.
Sure. Yeah, always going up or going down, right? Beautiful.
That's
I
great.
need the brake pedal.
There you go.
So then just pull this, or I go back here
You
first?
can go either or. You can go back to neutral.
That's
It'll show
neutral.
you neutral on the screen. And you just slam that
Pop it
button in,
in.
and red's applied. You're good to go.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yes.
Well, folks, we have come to the end of this one, and it was fun to sample some forbidden fruit. Now, these Land Cruisers, as you see them here, only cost about $35,000 Canadian. So if they were offered to the public, man, would they ever undercut the truck market? But of course, they have no safety gear whatsoever, just that small diesel, which hasn't passed any emissions regs. So that's not gonna happen soon. And they get so beat up in the mine that it's not like they're sold after the fact. These things go down, live a rough life, and then that is it. So it was really interesting to see what Miller Technology does with these vehicles, and just to hear their reasoning as to, you know, why the Land Cruiser keeps working. There goes that electric Land Cruiser right there. So they are working on some of that future technology. That makes a lot of sense for the mining industry too. So yeah, very interesting. But that's the end of this one, guys. So why don't you drop in the comments, let me know what you think of everything you've seen in this video and these super cool Toyota Land Cruisers. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.